And now you should be able to hear me. Cool. Well, that's silly. So, I've had something in my basically backlog for a long time, a cool website where you can learn the basics of Regex. Now, for the most part, I know Regex and I've used it quite a lot in some of my projects, like way in the past, but that's the keyword, way in the past. I low-key forgot Regex. So I thought it would be a pretty cool idea to go through that website, remember stuff, and then optionally I'll explain some stuff about Regex that I know of, so that you can learn Regex with me. And the link is somewhere. I guess we'll figure it out. Regex 101. What's this? Interesting that it's in two places. Let's mark this and go to this one. So we have one in practice and one in tools. It's more of a practice thing, so Regex 101. Is that what I'm even thinking of? Not quite. I remember this website also has a tutorial, but it's pretty shitty. It's pretty like, the tutorial looks down on you in many places and it doesn't feel good. So I think it was a different one. Regex 1, Regex tutorial, that's me. Regex 1 maybe. Interactive tutorial, I think. Well, yeah. No, that's strange. Okay, Regex 101, Regex generator, Regex 1. Huh. Well, that sucks. I thought I had the link previously. Huh. Okay, maybe we can find it by googling Regex tutorial. I don't think it's Regex 1 because the website actually looked good. Maybe this? No, not quite. Well, that's funny. Like, by the way, I started with this tutorial. It's amazing. It's all you really need to get started. It could be Regex Learn. Yes, 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 yes. I'm pretty sure it's this. Well. In that case, I have a hotkey in Vivaldi, Alt/ to activate this, but I realize now that I've gotten used to pressing Control L so much that it's actually not helping me, that it's now a different key. So let's go to the settings and change it back to what it is by default. I thought it would be like a good addition. No, not really. And yeah, you can change pretty much every hotkey that you use in Vivaldi to something else, which is like, finally. I've been kind of looking for it for a long time. A browser type of thing. So sure, there are extensions that do it, but extensions require JavaScript pretty much always. Having this functionality in the browser itself is huge. Right, so Regex for SEO, interesting. 101. Yeah, let's start. Yeah, I was looking for this website. That's perfect. Regex is short for regular expression. It helps to match, find, and manage text. Start by typing OK in the Regex field to proceed to the next step and access more detailed description. And it's like really nice. It matches here and it's all like mega beautiful, and you can press enter, which is also amazing. Okay. Regular expressions are a string of characters that express a search pattern, often abbreviated as regex or regex expression. especially used to find or replace words in texts. In addition, you can test whether a text compiles with the rules we set. For example, let's say you have a list of file names and you only want to find files with the PDF extension. Following typing an expression will work. The meaning of the definitions in this expression will become clearer as the steps progress. So immediately, we use the caret symbol to indicate the start of the line, which doesn't always work. Sometimes when you use regex in a programming language, it will consider this not as a start of the line, but the start of the string. And you try like regex 101. Oh, I see where I got confused. So regex 101 is also a website. Fuck off, Reddit. Yeah, but this is the name of the course. Huh, okay. Right, so you try to test on regex 101 and it works because it has a certain flag that the regex in your programming language doesn't. And you're like, what the fuck? Why doesn't it work correctly? And it's often because you expected, Jesus Christ, my washing machine go crazy. You expect the next character after a new line to be the start of the line, but it's no longer the start of the string, which is why this stops working sometimes. It's kind of wild. And same thing about the $sign. So if you want this behavior, and often you do, try to check whether you can add flags to your regex in your programming language. And then it should work correctly. Right, another issue with this regex specifically, it's mega fine for now, is just to show something off, but your file names will not always contain word characters. So in regex, often to express some sort of type of character, you backslash and plus something else. So in this case, \w is a word character. And of that, at least one, and then as many as there are. Then a literal dot and PDF. Cool. So that means that if we add, actually, can I change it here? Didn't think so. If there was a dash, for example, or something of that sort, in this file name, it wouldn't get matched, when in reality it should be. Yeah, so this is the regex. Alt-H is show answer, that's convenient. However, I remapped Alt-H in my browser to do something else, so like lol. Basic matchers. The character or word we want to find is written directly and is similar to a normal search process. For example, to find the word curious in the text, type in the name. Sure. Actually, hold up. Cure works. So, something you can do interactively. Whenever we want to search for something, we don't quite want to type in the whole thing. You can just type in a part of it once you're sure that it's the only one, or the next one at the very least. Then you're like, boom, and you can select it all. I can show this as an example in NeoVim. So we do boom, regex, and we're like rege, and then as many as there are. So you immediately jump to what you wanted to search for, and it's fully selected, so you can do something like cgn to change it, for example. While another way you would probably use it is just, oh, I've typed in enough, and now I can see that the next thing I'm going to end up on, my next search, is what I want. But then you end up here and you're like, all right, now I have to change inside word, which is just not ideal because, okay, you change inside word. What next? So maybe you want to replace multiple of those, and like gets increasingly annoying because change inside word, you like SDF, right? And then an N, change inside word again. Well, I guess you can just press dot, but it's not ideal compared to doing rege and then this, because now it's just CGN, SDF, and now you just press dot. You don't even have to go anywhere because dot repeats CGN in the sense that it also goes next, which is why interactively using regex is actually very helpful. It's hard to get in the habit of, but it's like very helpful. So try implementing some regex in your searches and other stuff that you may do. It's probably your best practice for regex, and regex is used in so many places that it's like a very valuable skill to develop. It's kind of like using Linux, at least to some extent, similar to using Vim or NeoVim. Sure, maybe you don't need it, but it is going to be helpful to you if you do decide to put in some effort to it and time. Now, does this work, I wonder? Because, like, it works, it does exactly right, but it wants me to just type in the word. That's okay. Basically, it's saying, yeah, you're correct, but like, don't rush. And this is why we escaped the dot prior. We put a backslash before it to mean a literal dot, not just any character. See? Like, now we're matching literally everything. One by one, though. If you wanted to match as much as possible, dot plus. Now we match everything. And if we use a star instead, that means that we match as much as possible, even 0. Character sets. If one of the characters is a word, in a word can be various characters, we write it in square brackets with all the alternative characters. For example, to write an expression that can find all the words in the text, type the characters adjacently with square brackets. Boom. So it starts with B, ends with R, and the character in between them is one of these. Only a single character, mind you. If this wasn't boor, but was boor instead, it wouldn't match, because this is just a single character that can be any of those. And we can add a plus, for example, to mean at least one, but as many as possible of these characters in this set. Negated character sets are incredibly useful. I wonder if we'll get to the step of needing them for, like, I guess, annoying situations. But they're incredibly useful for them. To find all words in the text below, except for bear and boar, type E and O side by side after the character inside square brackets. Basically, this means I couldn't care less what it is, just make sure it isn't this. And what's annoying about regex is that it has a way to express anything but these characters, but it doesn't have a way to express anything but this group, like this word, this whatever. So you can do it in characters, you can't for anything else. And it's such an obvious idea to basically say, give me anything except this. However, it's only restricted to characters, and to express this idea in other ways, it starts being far, far more annoying. It's like very unfortunate that it works this way. Right, it also has ranges. To find all the letters in the specified range, the starting letter and the ending letter are written in square brackets with a dash between them. It is case sensitive. Type the expression that will select all lowercase letters between E and O, including themselves. Between E and O. Here we go. Pretty convenient. And if I remember correctly, character sets also support Russian characters, which I got really surprised by, and I imagine that's also the case with other languages as well, which is very wild and very cool. Number range. It is what you probably expect. To find the numbers in the specified range, the starting number and the ending number are written in square brackets with a dash between them. Write an expression that will select all numbers between 3 and 6, including themselves. Alright, now the interesting part. I imagine, yeah, it won't like help you. You just have to do it. Write the expression that will select the words of in the wait, that's it? Oh, that's it. Okay. I thought it was going to be more difficult, but I guess it's a good thing that it isn't. Like, I already know Regex. I'm trying to remember it, but for a new person, an easier approach, slowly but surely, is going to be more effective. This is like a very good website. I'd probably recommend this to any person who wants to learn Regex for the first time, rather than that video that I watched first. It's great, it's just that more practice is going to be better. Any character. Type the expression to select individual letters, numbers, blah blah blah. Character sets. Okay, so BDF ear. Negated character sets. What do we not want? Bure and Bure. Okay, so B O R. Oh, this is not needed. Boom. Letter range from G to K. Number range 2 and 7. Well, that was easy. Okay. Maybe I move chat here. Okay, yeah. Now I don't have to scroll. Some special characters are used to specify how many times a character will be repeated in the text. These special characters are the plus, the asterisk, and the question mark. So the question mark and the plus are probably the most useful thing in regex. Whenever you see some regex, there's a high chance that you'll see something like this. And this means as many any characters as possible, even 0. And remember that doing it this way is actually a pretty bad practice. Somewhat recently, Cloudflare broke all of their servers for quite a while because of a regex like this that was incredibly inefficient, because it was trying to match literally anything, and should get even more wild when you try to use 2 of those. Why? Because let me give you an example. Here are some words and even more words, right? So it starts here, and I'm going to show in visual mode how it matches, how regex matches. So first of all, we match any amount of any characters. Okay, this matches, this matches, this matches, and it continues on and on and on and on and on until the end of the thing. Last time I looked at how Regex moves, turns out it works like this. Feel free to correct me though. So it goes until the end of the entire text and then realizes, okay, I matched this, but there's no end. Okay, let's go back character by character until I meet an end. And it continues on and on and on. Aha! I met an end. Let's match it. Great, we matched it. And then it continues on to match any type of any character again. You can see how this is inefficient, right? However, something that we're going to learn later, I don't quite remember how you do it, but this is just an example that's probably incorrect. So this and an equal sign, and so what this means now is match anything that has to be preceded by and after it also match anything. And how that works, as far as I'm aware, is it matches. Basically, it goes on. Is this end? This is not end. Is this end? And it continuously asks this question and tries to match this. Boom, boom, boom. Hold up, this is end. All right, let's match it. However, this is actually a non-matching group, which we're also going to get to later. Yeah, and then it continues to match, being quite a bit more effective. And it's unfortunate because this thing is often not supported by languages, which sucks. Sucks quite a lot. While typing, I recognized something. Inline suggestions keep like jumping me around and it's kinda annoying. Controls whether to automatically show inline suggestions in the editor. We can probably disable it per extension. Let's try that. God damn. Okay, so txt or plain text. Inline suggest enabled false. So now they don't appear, which I quite like. Can I trigger them? I can. So I can still trigger them, but I have to do that myself. It's strange that Benny Powers doesn't appear here. Huh. And now they just don't work anymore. Okay, split. Hold up. Why did they start working again? Is there something like close inline suggest? First of all, yeah, we disabled them by default, but we can still trigger them. In that case, let's keep them still, but just create a way to hide them. And I know how to do that. So Alt-M currently hides the suggest widget if it's there. So, and it does that if the suggest widget is visible in text input focus. And there's probably hide inline suggestion. Okay, so hide inline, yes. There's also Alt M, and now let's search for Alt M again. This happens if inline suggestion, inline suggestion is visible and suggest widget visible, however, we negate it. And obviously text input focus. Boom. So now if I do something like, what? Can you like replace everything? Hello? Why did capital S suddenly stop working? That's crazy. Let's reload then. What? That's so strange. What? Hey yo, Neovim. So I can type. And what? Okay, whatever. So I do ban and I can remove it. I press M. So if we have the suggest widget here, when I do Alt M, I close it. If after that I have an inline suggestion, pressing Alt M again will close it. And then Alt M to bring it back. And inline suggestions, usually they're a pretty weird type, because inline suggestions are exactly what this is most of the time. Like, what are those random fucking numbers? Yeah. They're usually what you would see in the suggest widget, just displayed differently. And very rarely, they are actually different types. So if you use some sort of AI to predict your text, it's going to be an inline suggestion. And then it starts being different from the suggest widget. Because usually, if you have them displayed, once you close the suggest widget, the suggestion there also gets closed automatically, because it was from the suggest widget. It's not an inline suggestion because it's not an inline suggestion specific, you know? If you're using AI and it gave you an inline suggestion, then it would be. So now I can type E, and then it gives me something. I may even go to normal mode, and sometimes as I go through stuff, actually, see, like, it suggests me stuff. I can disable it now. It's pretty convenient. However, I'm probably not thinking of some edge cases that I'll have to think about in the future. Yeah, basically, very, very useful. To express a certain number of occurrences of a character, at the end we write curly braces, along with how many times we want it to occur. For example, indicate that the following letter E can only occur 2 times. You know what I'm thinking of? So currently, I have Alt H and Alt L go through inline suggestions. and Alt J and Alt K. Oh wow, an emoji, really? Goes through the suggest widget. I just explained that they're actually very similar most of the time, so it's not actually helpful to have them be separated like this. So let's change that and try out how reasonable / good it is. So trigger suggest is no longer going to be here. Boom. Go to file. I don't fucking use notebooks. View. Right, so select next suggestion. If suggest widget has multiple suggestions, and suggest widget visible and text input focus and this. Okay. Let's search up for Alt K because it has a very similar thing. So no trigger suggest. Okay. Alt H, show previous inline suggestion. So if inline suggestion visible, and actually this should already work if we just change it to something else. Show previous inline suggestion, but we don't trigger them. This will be in a different place. Can you like, thank you. Escape focus hover, jump to that can stay. Okay, and same thing for Alt L. So I want to unseparate them and have different keys to trigger them. Because currently Alt M is overextending to both toggle the suggest widget and toggle the inline suggestion, making it potentially kind of annoying to use. But if I free up Alt L, for example, then I can make Alt M toggle inline suggestions and Alt L toggle the suggest widget, and then Alt J and K switch through both of them, because in reality I only ever will go through one of them thanks to the when conditions. You see where I'm going with this? I think it makes sense to do it this way. So show next inline suggestion. Great. So show next suggestion. Suggest. So hide inline suggestion. Inline suggestion visible, text input focus. Now Alt M will become strictly an inline thing. Show next inline suggestion. That should be already okay. Trigger suggest will now move to Alt L. Editor has completion, item provider, text input focus, not editor, and not suggest widget visible. Yes, 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 yes. I could use something like Alt N maybe, but it's a bit more annoying to press rather than Alt L, even though I use Alt L for a different thing as well, depending on the mode. So first of all, let's think of that. And NeoVim mode is, or rather is not, or rather is insert Cool. Control I, turns out, focuses suggestion. I don't want that. Hide suggest widget will also be on Alt L. Let's copy this, go to key bindings, find it, and then yim, paste it. Oh, I'm sorry, ym, paste it, and add caps lock to be able to do the hiding. Because if I press caps lock here, it will just close the asking window, because I remapped caps lock to escape, but for some reason VS Code still recognizes caps lock as caps lock, so I have to manually make my hotkeys for it. Still worth it though. Select next suggestion. These I do not need. I'll keep the arrows though. Why bother have both of them? Okay, so select previous suggestion. Reset suggest widget size. Hold up. This is snippets. In Fish, say I do ga, and now if I press Alt semicolon, that accepts the inline suggestion. I can use the same exact thing there for accepting them. In insert mode, move snippets somewhere. Yeah. My brain is turning. Here we have trigger inline suggestion. Okay. Let me write down the steps of what we're going through. First of all, what do I want? Alt these in insert mode, trigger different types of suggestions. Toggle it, or actually. And here we go. You would think, but now we have to escape. Oh, no, we don't. I thought I used, yeah, I thought I used the non-regex version of the search. Toggle different types of suggestions. That means that the tab switch has to take mode into consideration. Okay. After we have the suggest toggles on those keys, what do I want next? I want Alt in insert mode to specifically accept the inline suggestion. Tab would work too, but prefer the widget. Let's think about this. So currently how I have it set up, if I have the suggest widget and an inline suggestion, so they're different, if I press tab, the inline suggestion gets selected. And then if I want to select specifically the widget's suggestion, I press Alt Tab, which I know sounds crazy, but you can do it in Linux. You don't have to have Alt Tab do anything. For me, it doesn't, because I use different ways to go across windows. But the idea to use Alt semicolon to accept the inline suggestion, and then Alt this accepts word of inline suggestion, just like I have in Fish, that will be a very similar thing, which I'm already used to, so it makes a lot of sense to be that way. So in other words, tab, yeah, okay, let's actually separate them completely. I don't see why not. Tab only selects the widget suggestions, and Alt semicolon, simply because I'm used to it being that way, so selects the inline suggestions. Okay, so why does capital S not work? Let's reload. I so don't get it. Fix S. Okay, so CC. I haven't used it in so long. Okay. Alt in insert mode to specifically accept the inline suggestion. Okay. Tab only accepts widget suggestions. And that will be the setup. So Alt J or K switches through widget first, inline second. So if there is a widget, we go through the inline ones. If there's no widget, we go through inline suggestions. Yeah, that makes sense to me. However, what I could do in the future is Alt-JK, go through the widget ones, and Alt-Shift-JK, go through inline suggestions. However, for the most part, I don't think I need this separation that badly, which means that I could probably not need it at all. So we'll start with this more simplistic approach. I ate just recently, and now I'm suddenly feeling hungry, which is kind of whack. I didn't surprise that. I didn't expect that, rather. Okay, so let's start with the first thing. Alt and toggles inline suggestions, and not inline suggestion as well. So this, fuck notebooks, I don't even know what those are, and I don't care about them. if not panel focus, and and new Vim mode is not insert. If we don't know what new Vim mode we have, it's not going to be insert. So it should be mega okay. So, and new Vim mode is not insert. And in a similar way, search for this. Panel focus and new Vim mode is not insert. So they work, except in insert mode. Brilliant. Toggle, or rather trigger, suggest, yes, and it does indeed give us both, which is great. So, Alt comma now does it. Editor has completion item provider, text input focus, not read only, suggest widget is not visible, and new Vim mode is insert. Let's define alt dot to trigger inline suggestion. Inline suggestion, suppress suggestions, visible, has indentation, less than that size. Okay, so we don't need to specify anything of that, like has edit, or maybe has inline. No, I guess not. So text input focus and new Vim mode is insert. Boom. And then we need hide suggest for the opposite of that. Hide inline suggestion. This, however, we also add new Vim mode is insert. So now we can't hide them if we went to normal mode. We have to re-enter insert mode to hide them, which is somewhat annoying, but I hope it's not going to be too bad. And hide suggest widget is this. Suggest widget visible and not text input focus, and neo Vim mode. Actually, no. Actually, yeah, let's do it a bit differently. We don't add any mode dependencies. If it's there, it should probably be hidden first, right? Before we go to a different tab. So this still works. Try to type something. Okay, let's oh, that's fair. I actually like it a lot. Okay, I go, fuck, how do I make it stay? I guess I don't now, which is a very good thing. I think that's the case because I press escape, but really I press caps lock. So that's okay. Regardless, if they somehow stayed, before I went to a different tab, I would automatically close them. But now it's likely that I won't even have to, really. So, first thing, alt in insert mode, toggle different types of suggestions. Both sides of the toggle are done, the triggering that only happens in insert mode, and the like changing, I guess. That means that the tab switch has to take mode into consideration. It does. Alt N is insert mode to specifically accept the inline suggestion. Aside from that, the idea to change this to instead have Shift Alt JK to go through inline suggestions, I actually like it a lot now. Separating them like this will allow me to do less magic, to do pretty simple actions. And Shift Alt JK aren't really taken for anything, at the very least in insert mode. So Shift Alt JK, switch through inline suggestions in insert mode, widget suggestion, that will have to do. Suggestions, misspelled, but whatever, in insert mode. Because widget suggestions are those that I use the most often. Alt and is insert mode to specifically accept. Yes. So accept suggest. We have accept inline suggestion. Inline suggestion has indentation less than tab size. Wow. Inline suggestion visible. Right. No, actually. And accept selected suggestion. So accept inline suggestion is this. When text input focus and new vim mode is not, or rather is. I have flies again, or other mosquitoes, I think. Is insert. Oh, I thought it wouldn't work immediately, but it does. I like that. I like that. It makes a lot of sense for what I'm used to in Fish Shell. But let's go to conflicts. Not insert. Snippets will have to move somewhere. And Alt H and Alt L, both of them are actually used still for moving through what am I trying to say here? For moving through snippets, which means that I can't really change them to do something else in insert mode, meaning that the Shift Alt J and K ideas are kind of unnecessary. I should go back to using Alt H and Alt L for inline suggestions, because I can't really use those keys again for insert mode. Alright, what about snippets then? Something like Alt M in insert mode, I can see. Or maybe even Alt I. Huh. Okay. So insert snippet is Alt I, that in insert mode, but this new vim mode is not insert. Cool. Chat action ask quick question, Control Shift Alt I, come on. Some default key bindings are crazy. Well, most of them. I actually change pretty much every default keybind everywhere. Okay, so this does this, but if I'm in insert mode, snippet actually makes even more sense than it used to. Okay, so Alt in insert mode to specifically accept the inline suggestion. Alt accepts a word of inline suggestion. Accept word of inline suggestion. I feel like there was, oh, next line. I don't have suggestions that are that long, so just this. What are the conflicts? Toggle parameter hints. I actually want this to be able, I want to be able to use this in insert mode actually. Okay, we can make the accept next word thing only appear if there is an inline suggestion to begin with. So inline suggestion, line suggestion visible, so it's visible, and new vim mode is insert. So if it's not visible, god damn, Reddit, fuck off. Right, so if the inline suggestion is not visible, which we can now easily hide, then I can easily trigger parameter hints regardless of mode. But to make sure, let's go here and not inline suggestion visible. Boom. Good. We did that. Tab only accepts widget suggestions, and it does indeed do that. Switches through widget suggestions in insert mode. Yes, that's exactly what it does. And we just bring back those to where they were before. So Alt J, select next and quick open, show next inline suggestion. Inline suggestion visible. Yes, but back to Alt L. Next suggestion. Okay. And Alt K. All right. So this should now work how I want it to. I go in, use this, which for some reason is nicer to press for me than Alt M, to toggle that, and then I can also use Alt dot to at least supposedly toggle inline suggestions. For some odd reason, it doesn't recognize Benny powers as a word, which is kind of annoying. Alt dot doesn't work for some reason. Let's check this out. Alt dot. It should, by all accounts, work. Inline suggestion visible. Text input focus. That may be because it's not actually in line. No, it is actually in line. So this, in theory, should close it right now. I can switch. I can't close. Okay, so terminal focus, that is not that. Trigger. Oh, it actually may be this. And not inline suggestion visible. Here we go, I fixed it, great. So now if I'm like somewhere and typing test, typing text, and I'm like, fuck off, I can actually turn that idea into action to remove that inline suggestion. Usually it doesn't matter, it's usually okay, but sometimes it comes up with small annoyances. And that also means that I can't go between tabs while I'm in insert mode, which you shouldn't really be doing anyway. So it may help me develop a nice habit. Okay, aside from that, now whenever I want an inline suggestion specifically, I can very easily express that idea. If I want a tab here, a tab character, I can, which is actually very nice. And if I want to accept this inline suggestion, this, or, oh, that's actually very convenient, or a word, if there are multiple words in the inline suggestion, which I see from time to time using C#. So let me actually write this in my notebook. I recently bought a notebook. I posted about it on my Mastodon, and it's so cute. For some reason, it feels really nice to me to have like small little things like that. It brings me immense joy, which is why I'm like questioning autism. I do understand it's like a big jump. Oh, and I bought a nice notebook, and I enjoy it like very much. Making jump from that to maybe autism, but I noticed like quite a few things like that, so currently learning about all that stuff because it sounds very interesting to me. Right, fucking hell. I wish it was autumn already, so random flies wouldn't fly into my room. Okay, so the first thing that is different, Alt J and K do not trigger the suggestions. Don't trigger suggestions. That's the first thing. I have to specifically use Alt, comma if I want one. So Alt, comma, toggles actually, toggles widget, Alt dot toggles inline. That's pretty nice. I moved snippets. Okay, so Alt I now does snippets. Which makes sense. I used to have snippets on Alt-I for the longest time, but quite a long time ago. And still, Control-Shift-I lets me select or create snippets and so on. So having it be on Alt-I actually makes a lot of sense. Okay. Alt-H and Alt-L still go through inline suggestions. But Tab doesn't accept inline suggestions. What does instead is Alt semicolon. So Alt semicolon accepts inline, Alt single quote accepts word, which sometimes is actually very useful. I just haven't really had a way to... Bro, that's the most annoying gimmick you've ever had. Jesus Christ. So Alt single quote accepts word. I didn't have a way to express the idea, but I wanted to have it in quite a few times. I imagine that is like reverted. Damn it. All... No, that's too difficult. That's too difficult. Regex is more readable, bro. Pick a different gimmick. Or just talk normally, like, that's also an option, believe it or not. Okay, what did I change? What else did I change? Alt-M, as it is now, is actually pretty free. Like, I could use it for something else if I wanted to. Alt single quote can still be used for parameter hints, but only if there are no inline hints, which usually, like, would not happen. Because if there was anything, it would probably be the suggest widget, in which case it's already overridden, so that is all fine and good. And Alt-H does the thing that it used to do. That's not what I wanted to do. Let's go here, for example. So it even works now. It even works now. Still gives me a fucking error. That's crazy. Yeah, okay. So I'm quite happy with how it is now. I wrote this down in my notebook, so I can come back to it to basically process these changes. Changes are often stressful, yet I do so many of them, it's crazy. Which is why also on my corkboard, I have a bunch of motions and new text objects and even words and programs that I basically want to process and remember to actually actively use. And that's how I get used to doing something like this. That's a huge ass thing. Like what, 6 characters? The only reason I can use something as annoyingly complex as this is because I actively try to do that through writing it down, processing it, like going through stuff, practicing, and so on and so forth. You may say that it's not worth it, and you would be mostly correct, honestly, but it feels really nice to me, which is why I continue to do it. Okay, so why does capital S not work? I wonder. Maybe registers? See, that's the thing. It's supposed to be all good. Which is why it's so strange. Interesting. Let's go to here. Align. Oh. Since when? That's so interesting. So in big, I define S, or actually leader S. Yeah. So in that case, why is capital S remapped in any way? Huh, what? Okay, I'll type normally today. Thank you, finally. So for some reason, S is recognized as my thing. Oh, not even. S is being recognized as... Wait, hold up, what? It's being recognized as fucking sneak. I guess that's because I didn't uninstall it. Yeah, that's crazy. That's insane. I deleted the keybinds, so it switched back to its default ones. Never made sense. It never since said make I must. Ah, Jesus Christ. You're testing my ability to read to the greatest extent. Right, so now if we reload, it should work. And it does, perfect. That's like, wow. So we fixed S. We can go back to the Regex tutorial for a bit. Curly braces. To express at least a certain number of occurrences of a character immediately after the character we write, at least how many times you want it to occur, followed by a comma and wrapped inside curly brackets. That's a huge sentence. The original message was, damn it, all this writing is making me procrastinate on the other stuff I have to do. Like writing. Exactly. That's so true. But it feels so good. You like make something different and you're like, finally, now it makes more sense. I definitely won't change it in the future. Yeah. And wrapped inside curly braces. For example, indicate that the following letter E can occur at least 3 times. We just put 3 here and boom, that's all. Holy shit, that lock jumps around so much. By the way, how do you revert it? You probably have some smart way to revert it. How do you do that? It's an interesting thought, like how to do it efficiently. Using ew. Yeah, that makes sense. Sometimes things like these take like a lot of like, god damn, and you keep coming back to it. Oh, you're so right. You're so mega right. Yeah, that makes sense. Huh. Do I have it? I probably have it. Yeah, I do. There is tac, which I would probably think of using, but rev I never considered. You use Wayland copy, huh? I used to use Wayland copy on Debian because xclip didn't work consistently, but on EndeavourOS it just works mega correctly, so you can do something like echo hi into xcp, which turns out to be this. And if we look at, we have hi. So it works consistently on EndeavourOS, but for some reason xclip wasn't consistent at all on Debian. So that's why I used Wayland copy there. There is also fish clipboard copy. Yeah, fish clipboard copy. But that relies on fish when xclip works for me. However, then if I switch to a different distro, which I heavily doubt I'll do, having only the dependency of fish rather than the dependency of I don't know what works here, it's like, I don't know what's better. Does xclip support media? I don't see why not, probably. Now I'm not sure that it's how it works. Can I do something like this? Hold up, no. Can I do this? Huh. That's not what I wanted to do. I want to go to any subdirectory here. Like whatever, like literally any. Now we have some files. Let's try to echo a file, or rather cat this into xcp. PNG, huh? Also, NeoVim does not see the fish clipboard. What do you mean by fish clipboard? Like that function? Huh. This I didn't expect. I guess I should have, but huh. So, at least now, not how I imagine it to support it. Let's say that. As in, NeoVim only checks some providers. Yeah. But fish clipboard copy is not some special thing. All it does is just go through the other providers, uses xclip first. If that doesn't work, it uses Wayland copy. So basically like that. It also supports Windows, Win32 Yank, and so on. Fish clipboard copy is just a wrapper for other providers that you might have. It's not some special thing. Pretty much. Okay, so to express the occurrence of a character in a certain number range, we write curly braces with the interval we want to go to the end. Yes, it's amazing. I've seen it like way in the past, and also Nick Strix, another very hot man that talks about Linux, went through it in his video, and I'm like, oh right, I should go through it finally. So learn along. To be fair though, it only has 56 things, so it's not going to go through all of Regex, but in reality you don't need all of Regex to be already plenty good. So this is quite enough. Use the asterisk to write the expression that will select each word suitable for the absence of letter E in the text and the presence of one more. That is worded horribly. That is worded horribly. Use the asterisk to write the expression that will select each word suitable for the absence of the letter E in the text and the presence of one or more. They talk about multi-pass regex and mathematical limits of regex. Not even close. Not even close. So my immediate idea is this, but I'm not surprised that it's not what they mean. I don't think it works like this. It does. I thought that the asterisk would grab both of those. I guess not, huh? Write the expression using the plus sign to select words in which the letter E occurs one or more times in the text. So, turns out this, question mark. Write the expression indicating that the letter N is optional in the text using the question mark. Thus, both the words A and AN can be selected. So, this. Write the expression using curly braces that will find text containing 4 numbers side by side. Remember that the range will match a single digit. And I imagine it won't let me do something like this. Oh, it does. Oh, that's good. Going back to the bar. Okay. That's how most like classical jokes start. Both in Russian and English. Like 2 blank insert stereotype come into a bar. One says insert stereotype. The other says insert funnier stereotype. Ha ha ha. Yeah, this temporary bar, spent at least 2 hours on it. I see. I hope it's going to be enjoyable to like continue working on it, so it ends up like exactly what you want it to be. I'm not going to. I tried out 2 different fish shell prompts and then made my own. And I spent so much time on it. Most of it is documented on stream, so I'm exactly the same as you. Write the expression using curly braces that will find text containing at least 1 and at most 4 numbers. So it like continues on to let us do the same thing pretty much. Grouping. Now this is like super important for Regex, for practical uses of Regex. It's the groups that will let you do insane shit. We can group an expression and use these groups to reference or enforce some rules. To group an expression, we enclose in parentheses. For now, wait, hold up. This sounds like we enclose parentheses in parentheses, which makes no sense. For now, just group the ha below. Referencing group. If you think about it, most of the binaries that you have are probably bloatware to you, as you will use less than 1% directly and less than 25% indirectly. Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. I recently had the experience of that and noticed just how nice Linux is compared to Windows. There's a trick. Some tricks break your fucking system. Actually, this won't work because your system will prevent you from doing that. Therefore, you need the flag no preserve root. It's like a very known meme. To do it, you do sudo sudo remove for real, and that's the only way to pronounce it, just the slash, because you don't need the asterisk. And matter of fact, if you use the asterisk, you'll probably keep dot files, if I understand it correctly, and then you know preserve root, and I'm not going to execute it. If you won't, it won't if you do instead of Really? Huh, interesting. Didn't know that. Regardless, like, super don't run that. Like, it's the most dangerous command. Unless you, like, delete your bootloader or something. For real is for real. Ref is real fast. Okay, that's funny. Yeah. So, referencing groups is something I never do in Regex, and I want to like understand it and use it. The words ha and har are grouped below. The first group is used by writing to avoid rewriting. And better yet, we don't regroup it. That's it's pretty convenient. Here, 1 denotes the order of grouping. Type 2 at the end of the expression to refer to the second group. I never do this, I should. Let me write this down in my notebook. Okay, so I have no space to be writing on paper, but I try real hard. References group. It just feels really nice to have like a small cute notebook with a bunch of notes on programming stuff. It's like super adorable. Okay. Parentheses, non-capturing grouping. Very helpful as well. I can group an expression and ensure that it is not captured by references. For example, below are 2 groups. However, the first group reference would denote with \1 actually indicates the second group, as the first is a non-capturing group. Oh, that's very convenient. Pipe character. Now, in reality, you would use a character class, but it's also a good example. And the pipe symbol does indeed include not just the previous character, but the whole kind of thing. Unsure how to explain what a thing is. It's kind of abstract. I crashed 9 days ago. What do you mean by 9 days ago? Oh, you crashed 90 seconds ago. Probably. I removed every LSP formatter linter I have on NeoVim. 90 seconds. I see. God damn. Why? I guess that was unfortunate. Use VS Code with a NeoVim extension. Well, I guess like if you already invested the time and energy to use NeoVim, you might as well. It's probably more flexible. It allows to specify that an expression can be in different expressions. Because Mason is pain. What's Mason? Thus, all possible statements are written separated by the type by the pipe sign. This differs from charge set. Charge sets operate on the character level. Oh, yeah, I already explained this actually. Alternatives are at the expression level. For example, the following expression should select both cat and rat. Add another pipe sign to the end of the expression type dog. Very convenient. It's kind of like logic, but I imagine we'll come across logic in the future on this like tutorial, or maybe not. Basically, there's this thing that's basically if this group matched, then match this, but if it didn't match, match that. Literal logic like ternaries in your regex. I'm gonna switch to a Nix shell based setup for LSPs. Mason is the installer. For LSPs, linters, formatters. I see. I guess you deleted all of them to reinstall them on a different setup. Escape character. There are special characters that we use when writing regex. Quite a lot of them actually. Before we can select those characters themselves, we need to use an escape character. For example, to select the dot and asterisk characters in the text, let's add an escape character before it. Boom. Caret sign. Selecting by line start. We were using a character class to find numbers. To find only numbers at the beginning of the line, prefix this expression with the caret symbol. Let's use the $sign. Lol. There should only ever be one escape character per language. True, absolutely true. And sometimes you write regex in JSON, so you have to double escape, which is crazy. And then maybe you write that JSON as a string in a programming language, so you fucking triple escape. I actually like JSON a lot. Really, I love it. It's so simple and so effective. I have no issues with it. Especially using Vim, it's so easy to navigate. When I have to surround the keys with quotes, I like that because I can have spaces in my quotes, which I often do. Selecting by end of line, let's use the $sign after the HTML value to find the HTML texts only at the end of the line. Half the time the spaces break stuff. Well, not in my experience, I don't know. In my experience, they don't. Why can't I add extra commas to lists? You can, if you use JSON-C. And that is weird, the fact that it has a special subtype just to enable comments. It's so silly. But I guess if you're using JSON to parse another language, yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you use JSON-C, like, it's all fine. I guess not for a language though. That will just not compile. Comments should be in by default. Yeah, like, it's ridiculous. Like, what do you mean? Comments are incredibly useful to at least have. Not to overuse though, but there should be comments. Word character. The lack of comments only makes sense on size-performant languages. JSON is one of the least size-performant languages. It's so true, because there's a lot of special characters to define syntax. Markdown is more efficient. It is? Actually, yeah, I can see that. That's pretty funny. Letter, number, and underscore. The expression "n" is used to them. Except word character. I severely underuse these. Most of these things you can make uppercase to mean the opposite of them. I severely underuse them. I should. I super should. Number character I've already been using this whole time. Not number character. Space character, and you can probably guess that it's not space character. Lookarounds. If we want the phrase we're writing to come before or after another phrase, we need to look around. That's an interesting way to explain why it's called like that. Take the next step to learn how to look around. Now, this is incredibly useful. Positive look ahead. For example, we want to select the hour value in the text. Therefore, to select only the numerical values that have PM after them, we need to write the positive look ahead expression after our expression. Include PM after the equals sign inside the parentheses. Very convenient. So basically match this, but it has to come before this. And Rust doesn't support look-aheads at all, which is pretty annoying. But it's like a design decision, whatever. I want convenience. I don't care about those pesky safety. Ugh. Whatever. Negative look ahead. For example, we want to select numbers other than the hour value in the text. Therefore, we need to write the negative look ahead. So question mark equals, so equals to this, and then not equals with the exclamation mark. Expression after our expression to select only the numerical values that do not have PM after them. God damn, I popped off, apparently. Include PM after the exclamation sign inside the parentheses. My current wallpaper script symlinks the wallpaper to the data folder into the related color scheme folder, then into the theme one. That sounds reasonable. But it's like more symlinks than I would expect. I would just expect one. But I think I only really need one symlink to the current wallpaper. Yeah. And then I'm pretty sure you can symlink to symlinks. Unsure if it's a good idea to do, but you can, I think. Possibly one to the next. And the one to the previous wallpaper. Oh my god, like a linked list. Holy shit. Like, oh my, that's literally a linked list, but in a file system. That's crazy. I love that. True. Symlinked list. Right, so look ahead is specifically for things that go after. And then we have look behind. And the thing with look behinds is that they have to be like a certain length. Basically, length that you have to know on quote unquote compile time. But look aheads can be any length. Regex in this step are not supported by some browsers. Interesting, you have getting trouble getting past this step, you can click here. That's convenient. Positive look behind. Look behinds is the strategy that differentiates a Mario Kart newbie and a Mario Kart god. Took me some time to understand that. For example, we want to select the price value in the text. Therefore, to select only the number values that are preceded by a $sign, we need to write the positive look behind expression before our expression. Add after the sign inside the parentheses. Okay. So here we just introduce a left triangle bracket, and that's the only change. Yeah, that's the only change. Okay. They're easier to remember than I remember them, which was not easy. For example, I want to select numbers in our text other than the price value. Therefore, to select only numeric values that are not preceded by $, we need to write the negative look behind before our expression. All right, very similar thing. Flags. Flags change the output of the expression. That's why flags are also called modifiers. Flags determine whether the typed expression treats text as separate lines, is case sensitive, or finds all matches. Continue to the next step to learn the flags. Global flag. Oh, cool. You can like control and plus stuff. Nice. The global flag causes the expression to select all matches. I'm also thinking of moving away from neofetch to neo-wo-fetch. Really? What is that? Oh my god. I'm so annoyed by my cats just randomly meowing. Like, do it later when I'm not streaming, which I understand I usually do for 3 whole hours, but like, get away. High fetch, okay. High fetch. What's the difference? Okay. Okay, I immediately like it. It's a fork, okay. Oh, как прелестно. That's literally me. That is legit just me. That's Neo fetch. Okay. Can I? Well, let's just try. Borrow Neo fetch. Huh. Written in Go, is it? To make sure I'm... I guess not. No, not quite. The package is probably high fetch. Yeah, probably. High fetch. Here we go. And it's an extra, not even AUR. It provides both binaries. Neo fetch. Right, but where flags? Where flags? Because it hasn't changed yet. Let's uninstall neofetch in this case. Really? US bash share? That's crazy. Huh. Is the direct fork. High fetch is the one with flags. Oh. Huh. Okay. Let's update some things first. Install neofetch high fetch. High fetch. Ah. Welcome to HiFetch. Let's set up some colors first. Your terminal is too small. Please resize it to at least... What? It doesn't let me... Oh, I guess like this, right? Yes. That's so cool. That's so cool. Ah! Welcome to HiFetch. Let's set up some color first. Set detected color mode RGB. Dark. Let's choose a flag. Page 1 of 11. Press next to go to next page and pref to go to previous page. Default rainbow. Okay. Transgender. Cool. That's a lot of cats. Hold up. Let's adjust the color brightness. Oh, they're different? Oh, they are different. Fucking colorblind. The difference is very small, and you watching the stream probably don't notice it at all because of like the quality and stuff. It should be good, but like limited still, probably. The colors might be a little bit too dark for dark mode. I like 50%. Yeah, I like 50%. Yeah. 65 for dark mode. I am 144p to reduce lag. God damn. I like 50. Oh, I see. Horizontal looks the best. The standard horizontal or vertical alignment, or use one of the random color schemes. Now, this one makes the most sense in terms of the logo, but I like that. It looks like a random blob. So if I press enter, it goes by default. Yes. Amazing. I love that. HiFetch. So adorable. So cute. I love it. Yeah. Good suggestion. Thank you. I added it to my install script, which is, by the way, is public. In my scripts directory, I basically have all the things that I install as scripts that install those. Now, keep in mind, some of them aren't going to work with the same exact commands on a different distro, but the ideas are usually similar. Yeah, that's amazing. I love it. This is so cute. Especially for Arch, I love how they picked like the trans symbol on Arch, because it's like a very like an in-joke that you buy some thigh highs, then install Arch, and then you realize you're trans, and it's so true. My dot files are pretty much distro agnostic. That's good. That's definitely a good approach to them. I just kind of found that it's a bit more annoying to have to think about that as well. I try to some extent, but for the most part it's just for me. If I install a different distro, I understand that I probably have to change my dot files anyway, so it doesn't really matter that much. I love this. And once again, why I love Arch so much. I didn't have to do any Python bullshit. I don't like installing stuff with Python. No, there's just like an Arch package for it. And now, to be fair, there's also Nix. But like, I use Arch and I'm enjoying the fact that I can do this. If you are on Debian, you would have to install with Python, which is like not the end of the world, but it's just doing stuff in very different ways all the time. It stacks up and ends up being like very annoying. Another thing that I just remembered being annoying is the fact that resizing the font size in my terminal is not being done with the keys that I actually want. So let's go to kitty.conf, figure out a place where we will add this to here, and go to kitty actions to add hotkeys to resize. I don't actually know what they're called though, or even if they're there. I imagine so. I'll actually try to make them agnostic. Oh, I guess it just so happened to be that way. Well, I guess, let me correct myself. My dot files are, my install scripts aren't. Just that since everything is managed through Home Manager, it is by default agnostic. What's Home Manager? Does it manage homes? Kitty shell to control kitty with commands. That's pretty cool. Let's try it out. And nothing happens. Yeah, nothing happens. Control Shift Space, right? Oh, Control Shift Escape. Cool. Since Nix is available on all distros in BSD and Mac. Cool. Yes, it does. It's a dot file that manages your home folder. I see. I love this, the fact that it's an emoji of a kitty. It's so cute. Help. So here I can just execute stuff. That's very convenient. Let's make a hotkey for this. Let's make a hotkey for this. What? Why does it, like, why does chat activate ever? There's probably... Right, there is a window rule. Hold up. Let me cook. Special window. Right? Like, there's a thing that lets you, like, basically focusable. You can make it not accept focus. And I can always resize the other window. True. Okay. Good idea. Title substring match. So studio, YouTube, live, chat, and everything is not important. So if live chat, live chat, Vivaldi stable, window role, accept focus, please don't. Yeah. So now, usually, this would now be activated, but now it's not, which is very convenient. Okay. Control space. I want... Wait, do I want control space? Yeah, I think control space makes the most sense. So control space. Since it's not really a thing that I'm going to be using often, if at all. Kitty shell. Let's reload it, and boom. let's switch to this. Control kitty by setting it commands. Pretty cool, like pretty damn cool. Yeah, and I'm not like making any. I'm not making that hotkey in a convenient place because it's unlikely that I'm going to be using this often, but maybe sometimes to check out some things or try them out. So yeah, that's why it's control space. All right. What is remote control? Huh. Sleep. Mouse actions we don't care about. Scrolling. That's closer to what we want, but not quite. Basically, change font is what I'm looking for. Huh. Really? Well, how do I change my things that change the font? What? Well, that's inconvenient. Okay, let's just try to search for font and find nothing because it's kind of eh. Right. YouTube is the worst, is the most annoying shit ever. It is, yeah. Chat died for the last 3 minutes. It did? YouTube, please fix fucking streaming. Why do you give Ludwig all that money if you're gonna continue having a bad streaming experience? You can't just write on the fact that, oh, we'll have good people streaming on our website. Yeah, but if it's shit, it's like, come on. Uh-huh. Modify font characteristics. Such as the position or thickness of the underline and strike through. The modifications can have the suffix px for pixels. Underline position. Cell width. It might be that, but maybe there is a more direct way of doing it. God damn, there's so much stuff. Right, Sast, I wanted to ask you something. So, Spider didn't work for me because Russian. Do you know of any other way to redefine the W, E, and B and GE motions? Essentially, what I want to have for them is jump to the next word character and completely ignore punctuation. Because if I want to jump to punctuation, I will probably F motion. So maybe there's like a plugin that does this, or a way to redefine it. You don't? You don't what? You don't know? I think what I'm looking for at the end of the day is... wait, why is that... Okay, what is baseline? Note that modifying the baseline will automatically adjust the underline and strike-through positions by the same amount. Increasing the baseline raises glyphs inside the cell, and decreasing it lowers them. Yeah. Where's the thing that just changes my fucking font then? Right, like... You would think it would just be there. Alright, let's ask ChatGPT. Alright. Yep, yeah, I'm using Vivaldi. Not sure if I... Oh yeah, I did show it off on stream, I think. Great browser. Now, I'm saying great because I'm comparing to Firefox, Edge, and Chrome. And however, like, praised those browsers may be, there's no fucking way those are the best. Browsers overall are kinda ass. When I look at something like VS Code or terminal emulators, they have way more powers than browsers usually give you. Vivaldi is just the best one, but I imagine it's not the best one overall. You can remove that address bar from chat with custom CSS. I'm sure I can, I just haven't gotten around to it. Brave is the best drop-in replacement that respects privacy. Do not care about privacy personally. What I care about is not privacy, more so like UX, like configurability, stuff like that. And Vivaldi, like, finally lets me fucking change my hotkeys, which other browsers don't let you do for some odd fucking reason. Go on, keep using fucking Control W to close tabs. It's so inconvenient compared to Alt W. UX probably Vivaldi tied with Arc. Fuck, if Vivaldi is the best one for UX out there, I'm so disappointed by browsers. When you take into account text editors and terminal emulators, you have so much power that browsers just think, oh, you probably don't need. Arc is going to have better UX. Alright. How do I set a hotkey to change my font size in the Kitty terminal emulator? But it is in dev with no Linux plan. With no Linux plan? What? I thought that most things, like good browsers, are made first for Linux, then for Windows, so I'm surprised. Mac right now. Oh, that's even crazier then. Wow. Change font size, I highly doubt that it's actually that. And then plus, and I doubt it. Oh, it doesn't support a hotkey specifically for changing the font size directly. Instead, it provides hotkeys for increasing and decreasing. Well, yeah. Control-Shift backspace. Okay, let's search for font in the default KDE. Arc and Warp are the two things that for some reason are stuck on Mac. You wouldn't expect it, right? Like, pretty surprising. Font size, hold up. Where's the map that maps the control blah blah blah? If you can't change that, that would be crazy. Oh, we have set font size. Huh. You can use multi-key shortcuts with the syntax show below. show below? What? Yeah, chords, they exist. I kind of didn't consider them at all. Cool, I'll remember them, I guess. So we have set font size, which is pretty crazy because it was not mentioned anywhere. Actually, MS. Right? Like, this wasn't here. Oh, come on. Like, let me search. How the fuck do I search? I forget. Not Control F, I changed it. Huh. But does nothing. And this does nothing as well. Wow, how amazing. How incredible even. Why do you suddenly select all? My man, what? How does that work? Let's add Control F just to check, I guess. So Control F works, but those fucking don't. Okay, what if I do this? Okay, it works now. In that case, I'll delete these two because they, for some odd reason, don't work. Okay, so can I like Alt? Really? No hotkey to match case? There probably is, and you have to set it. So see, like, this is pretty good, but the best browser, when you compare to text editors and terminal emulators, this is just sad. Browsers have so much more stuff to them, and for them to be usually this bad, it's surprising. So set font size. Why is this not in mappable actions? Even though it's clearly mapped right fucking here. Right? Like, what? All right. Okay, so we can set font size. Where the fuck is it explained? Right, like... Oh, it's the only map. I imagine we can, like, plus and minus, like... This should be in the fucking docs. Set font size kitty. Is it explained anywhere? Yeah. It should be in the fucking docs. I'm so mad at it. I'm so fucking mad. It shouldn't be hidden as, oh, we give you an example. It doesn't even show when it maps the default bindings to change it. It's just a random fucking example that doesn't explain to you how to change relative. Now I imagine we use plus and minus, but this fucking needs to be explained. I shouldn't need to ask ChatGPT to be able to do that. Let's move this here. Let's try to map control this to set font size, apparently, to +2, map control plus minus, set font size -2, and what's my default? 20, map control plus 0, set font size 20. So boom. Okay, apparently not. So control 0 works. Alright. What if we add the all that ChatGPT suggested to us? Could not convert string to float. Fair. So these two don't work. So there's a way to... Right, but like how? Okay, so it is here. Alright, let's try to search for this. Kitty. Read it, already a bad sign. The first thing that we see here should be the fucking docs. The kitty go. I hate it. I hate that so much. Both fish and kitty, both written in Rust. Actually, let me retract that. Kitty isn't written in Rust. This looks like it is, looking at the docs. They look kind of rustish. But if you try to search for anything, for fish, good luck. You won't find it, most likely. And same thing here for kitty. Something that is in the program that I should be able to just search for and learn from the docs, not by fucking guessing, is just not there. I shouldn't be looking at default key bindings to figure out what I can even do, you know? And this begs the question of, how much stuff is there that I don't even know I can do? So change font size is indeed a real thing. That I did not expect. So change font size all, change font size all. Cool. Now I can actually like increase it. Maybe I want to show you something in a very big way. And I can now do that. I used to resize things all the time. I kind of got out of the habit of doing so. I should come back to it. Resizing stuff is kind of neat. Okay, so add hotkeys to resize font kitty. Cool. So resizing the terminal font hotkeys. I wonder. Different motions NeoVim. I doubt I'll find some. Yeah, spider. That would be great if it worked. No, not really. Is there a way to redefine how the motions consider words? I want them to only jump to word characters. Is this stream like fine in terms of quality? Seems to be. Okay. So that's not a thing that we don't need. Damn, it's kind of slow. Lol. In the Vim text editor, you can redefine how the consider words by changing the is keyword setting. The command tells Vim to consider a word as any sequence of the characters included in that list. To make these changes permanent, now changing it probably breaks some things, but you'll never know until you change it. So let's read the docs on this. Actually, now I can resize it to make the help page bigger. Help is keyword. Actually, I don't need it to be that big. No, I kind of do. That is also annoying, by the way. Can I? No? Okay. Oh, that. Okay, that's more convenient then. Default the @ symbol, which I'm not sure what it represents. Oh, I guess literally. Default is that. Local to buffer. Keywords are used in searching and recognizing with many commands. It is also used for K in a pattern. C is function name for description of the format of this option. For characters above those, check the word character class. Any character that is not whitespace or punctuation. For C programs, you should use that. For a help file, it is set to all non-blank printable characters except those. So that control on a command finds the help for that command. And the list option is on the character, it is always included. Okay. I don't understand what it means by those ranges. What are they? What is 48 until 57? Is it ASCII? I imagine so, right? ASCII, just ASCII. Right. I imagine it will have like a list. Cool, an example. Give me a list. So it considers numbers, which I do want to consider. So until 57, yeah, numbers, and 192. Can you just give me a fucking list? Thank you. Oh. 192. Until ASCII table, like just give me everything. Images even. Okay, that is super hard to see. And it's also not all of them. But I imagine what this means. It's so weird to be able to select with the mouse, by the way. What this means is this character, literally, numbers, underscore, and word characters. So I wouldn't be changing this to change the behavior of W, because W then goes on to punctuation. So ChatGPT might have That's not true. Yeah, that's true, but escaping it isn't. Okay, Does the range include any non-word characters like punctuation? Maybe. Includes extended ASCII characters such as accented whatever letters, special symbols, and other characters used in various languages. This range does not include common English punctuation. That is okay. So that means that changing is keyword isn't going to help me do what I want to accomplish. What else is there? Is indent. Identifiers. Gotcha. Is function name. Infer case. When doing keyword completion in insert mode, and ignore case is also on. Depends. Okay. Identifier keys. a list of keys that, when typed in insert mode, cause reindenting of the current line. How interesting. Let's just do something simpler. Right, can I search what a word is? Ooh, B match words. In order for match it to support a new language, you must define a suitable pattern. Yeah, but that's match it. So it's not what I wanted. The fact that, like, let's go here, for example. The fact that I press W. Oh, well, okay. So, right now it sometimes skips punctuation, which is weird. I guess I can't show the example here, but it's pretty annoying to go through a bunch of rubbish until you actually get to words, which makes me not use the W, E, B, and G motions very often. And I actually want to use them because they do seem like useful. And something like a search is just not going to be good enough, like not even close. Word, maybe. A word consists of a sequence of letters, digits, and underscores, or a sequence of other non-blank characters, separated with a white space. This can be changed with the is keyword option. An empty line is also considered to be a word. So, in other words, if we include those special characters, they will just be considered as a word and will not be separated, which I'm not sure is what I want, because I want to skip through indentation. No, not indentation. I want to skip through special characters rather than include them. Basically, what I could do by changing is keyword, I could change the lowercase web motions to uppercase ones by default, which is not exactly useful. So changing is keyword is not really what we're looking for here. So yeah, that can be changed with this. It's pretty inconvenient. Is there a way to make those motions skip the special, usually punctuation characters altogether. Basically make them not consider. Basically kind of like spider, but even more extreme, and that will work for Russian. I could open an issue for spider. That's probably the best way to do it, but I don't know, I don't feel like it. I super don't feel like it because I'll have to probably like prove the importance of that and so on and so forth. And that sounds exhausting. Jesus Christ. It's so disappointing. Like, your decision is kinda shit. And I can't even change it? Don't have a built-in option to ignore punctuation. By default, they stop at punctuation because Vim treats punctuation as separate words. Right, but that's a search. So we search by using regex a word character, then God knows what this is. Oh, it's trying to make an or, I see. This I'm just super not sure what it tries to mean by that. Not a word character or a white space. I think it's just going crazy there. Yeah, basically there's more or less no reasonable way of doing it, which is very unfortunate, but yeah, I guess I will have to consider punctuation as words. And then new lines are also considered words. Maybe like if I get like super used to it, I'll be able to count it all in my head. It's just very silly that I have to do that to begin with. So the last thing that I'm going to do today is actually release a video. I made a video on something that I actually did on stream recently. A way to move your default register to any other register that you might want. So go watch it. Should be public now. I'm actually quite proud of it. I think the editing is more clean than it usually is. So I hope you enjoy it. Now, I'm not sure. Like, once again, unsure. So the stream supposedly is caught up. So if I press end stream right now, I don't think it will fuck up the recording, the VOD, but the current watchers, like, will it strangely cut off? I would love to know that. Goodbye!